Good morning everyone. Today our topic is meninges. What is meninges? It is a connective tissue membrane. It is covering, main function is covering to the internal structures, giving protection to the internal structures which includes brain and the spinal cord. So here, how many layers are there? First, it consists of 3 layers. Outermost from the outer to inwards we are saying, first one is dura matter, in the middle layer is arachnoid matter, and the third layer is pia matter. Dura matter, dura means, the word dura means tough. Matter means mother. So it is known as tough matter because it is the toughest layer. So how you will explain dura matter? Dura matter is otherwise known as tough, non-elastic connective tissue membrane or fibrous membrane which is formed just beneath the skull vault. Here, from where dura matter is embryologically derived from the mesoderm, it is having mesodermal origin. And whereas arachnoid and pia matter, it is otherwise known as leptomeninges, it is having its origin from the ectoderm, ectodermal cells, that is otherwise ectodermal origin, which is from the neural crust, specialized cells, that is neural crust cells. So here we are saying dura matter and arachnoid matter is there. So between the dura matter and the arachnoid matter, we are having one space which is known as subdural space. Between the arachnoid and the pia matter, we are having one space which is known as subarachnoid space. What is the constituents of the subdural space? Subdural space consists of one thin layer of capillary fluid. It is not CSF. What is the importance of this capillary fluid? Capillary fluid which exerts a hydraulic pressure which prevents the inward movements of the next layer. What is the next layer? Arachnoid matter. So what about this one? Subarachnoid space. Where it is present? It is present between the arachnoid and the pia matter. So what is the importance of subarachnoid? It is having which fluid? Cerebrospinal fluid or CSF. Here we can see one thing. We are going in detail for the dura matter. Dura matter, it is of two types because it is found in two regions. One is cranium as well as the spinal. So if it is found in the cranium, it is known as cranial dura, and if it is in the spinal region, it is known as spinal dura. So cranial dura, what is the importance of the cranial dura? We are having two layers in the cranial dura. What are the two layers present in the cranial dura? First one is outer endosteal layer and the second one is inner meningeal layer. What about the spinal dura? We are having only one layer which is known as inner meningeal layer. So outer endosteal layer is forming the covering, means completely. Where is dura matter present? Just beneath the skull. Okay, this is the skull, and beneath the skull we are having one layer that is known as the dura matter. Here outer endosteal layer is not forming a gap between the skull. It is completely forming the periosteum of the skull wall. Okay, skull bones. So if there is no gap occurring between this skull as well as the endosteal layer of the dura matter. So we are not having any space between this. So that means we are lacking one space which is known as extradural space. But what in case of the spinal dura? Why we are not having? Are we having this extradural space or not? So here listen, our vertebral column is having its own periosteum. So it will be having one layer. Okay, and what is present inside? The outermost layer, that is meningeal layer. Okay, so it is forming a gap between, and that gap is forming the space which is forming the extradural space. So in the cranial dura we are not having extradural space, but in the spinal dura we are having an extradural space. Now see here. Now here we are telling the pia matter as well as arachnoid matter together, that is known as leptomeninges, whereas dura matter is otherwise known as pachymeninges, pachymetry, or otherwise pachy. The word pachy is meaning thick. So what is the use of the pachymetry? We are using the pachymetry for measuring the thickness of our cornea. Same like this, we are naming this dura matter as another means as pachymenins. What it is? Pachymenins. But whereas pia matter as well, together with the arachnoid matter, it is known as leptomeninges. Now see here, dura matter already we completed, means we had an introduction. So now going to the arachnoid matter. Arachnoid matter, what it is present? It is a thin layer of avascular membrane, connective tissue membrane. It is avascular, but we are